Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over what sold last week on both eBay and Poshmark. We'll do a deep dive into the sales, how much it cost me to list and sell those items, and then I'll show you some hand-selected items, tell you about why I picked them up, and why I think they sold for how much they did. Let's just jump right in. Alright, so let me just start by saying that I do know that I'm a couple weeks behind on making what sold videos. I haven't done any for a couple of weeks. Been really slacking on that, but I'm trying to get back on the what sold train and make videos for you guys every single week. So for today's video, this is going to be covering sales from March 20th through the 26th, and that is a Sunday through a Saturday. In total, I sold 99 items for a gross sales total of $3,225.10, making my average sale price $32.58, and then our estimated cost of goods based on an average buy cost was $396 for everything that sold last week. Estimated net profit, which is my gross sales less the estimated cost of goods, the fees and the shipping costs, was $1,886.20. On eBay, I sold 77 items. On Poshmark, I sold just 22. Gross sales on eBay were just over $2,500, and on Poshmark, they were just over $700. For this particular week, Poshmark was really slow for me. Lately, Poshmark has been kind of half and half, really close to meeting eBay, but for some reason this week just wasn't a lot of sales on there. But I'm okay with it. And as you'll see, my average sale price did dip last week, and so we're selling more items, but for less money. I'm still happy with the results because we seem to be averaging about the same amount of gross sales every single week. Now we're going to dive into some of the items. This was probably our best sale for last week, and definitely if you guys see any kind of Ed Hardy men's denim jeans, definitely worth taking a look at, especially when they have crazy prints like this. Some are worth more than others, and even if these had a little bit of flaws, I would probably still pick them up. This particular one Nikki found for $6.99, and we sold it for a full asking price of $79.92. I really do think that the skull helped to sell it. Skulls and Ed Hardy kind of go hand in hand, and then I also added Y2K as a keyword into my title, which I also think helped to sell the listing. I've been selling a lot of J. Crew lately. We are focusing on more substantial items. This is a men's J. Crew wool jacket. The reason I picked this up was because it was wool, and it was a really nice plaid, thick jacket, and I thought it was kind of unique. Now, I picked this up for $14.99, and we're starting to move into warmer weather. I listed it for $59.92. I received an offer of $40, and I went ahead and accepted that, even though I spent about $15 to get it. I went ahead and accepted $40. That way I'm not waiting until next year to sell this item. Next up are these pair of Gramici pants. I almost did not pick these up because I couldn't find a whole lot of information on it. However, these were new with tags, and they just felt very substantial, and they retail for a lot. So because of all of that, I decided to take a chance. I paid $3.99 for these at a thrift store, listed them for $44.93, and they sold for the full asking price. This is a really good bread and butter for us. I would pick this up even pre-owned. However, we found this one new with tags. This is a 100% Pima cotton Polo Ralph Lauren Golf sweater vest. And like I said, I'd pick this up even if it wasn't new with tags, but really happy we did find it new with tags. We only paid $4.69 for it. It did sell for a full asking price of $49.93. Sweater vests were really popular this year. I don't know moving into warmer weather how popular they'll be, but they definitely made a comeback this past season. Next up is one of my favorite brands to find and to sell. It is Standard by James Purse. A lot of people pass on this brand because it's very minimalist, kind of plain and simple, but they have a really great following. This was my first time finding joggers in this brand, which, as we mentioned before, joggers really help to add value. You want to be careful because they do have vanity sizing, so this size 2 is not actually a size 2. And we listed these for $39.93. They sold for $35.94, which is an offer that I sent to watchers, and we found those at the bins. Next up is a new brand to us. It's called Cinch Jeans. Only reason we looked these up is because we noticed they were men's and they had a style name called Grant. That's one of the things I love about men's jeans is that it's so easy to look up. So we just did a comp for Cinch men's Grant jeans and they sold pretty quickly. Very modern style looking jeans. I'm not sure about the other styles in this brand, but this particular one did well. We actually paid up for this. We paid $8.99 for it, and it did sell for a full asking price of $39.92. This is one of our favorite brands to sell. It's LL Bean. We're always looking for substantial pieces in this brand, and so when I saw this nightgown at a thrift store, I kind of figured it would probably be worth getting. This is kind of a muumuu, like longer length old flannelly nightgown, and it did have some like kind of cool bohemian print on it, so we were able to add a lot of keywords, and that really also helped me to decide to go ahead and get it. I paid only $4.69 for this at a thrift store. We did sell for a full asking price of $39.93. Here is a very old fresh produce label. I know I've shown this brand on my channel before, but I don't think I've ever shown this tag. This is a very old tag. Fresh Produce makes kind of like hippie-ish style. Some of their stuff is sustainable clothing, and so it's really easy to just pass on it. If I just saw this and I didn't know what the brand was, I probably would pass on it. But since I've trained myself to look for fresh produce, I was able to spot this at the bins. So we paid only a few dollars for that at the bins, and it sold for full asking price of $39.91. Reason why we priced it up so much was because it was a substantial piece in a dress, and it was also a larger size, a size large. Talbot's has been a brand that we have been picking up a lot lately. It definitely has a following. I picked this one up because it was a size 16 and it was pure silk. I actually paid for this at a thrift store, $4.39. Got it because it was it just had a lot of factors. It was silk, it was a larger size, Talbot's really carries the name, and then this floral print really helped to add some detail. Like I said, I paid $4.39 for it. It sold for $27.93, which was my full asking price. Another brand of dresses that I really like selling is Garnet Hill. And this brand really does have a following. I try to stick to more substantial pieces and really do comps on the exact style or the exact pattern that I have. But in dresses, for the most part, Garnet Hill does really well. This was just 100% cotton. It was a pretty plain striped dress, but still did really good. Paid $4.99 for this. It sold on an offer to watchers for $31.40. This is a great men's brand to pick up. It is called FootJoy. If you come across it at a thrift store, you might see this tag, which just says FJ, which if you're just looking at it, does not look like anything substantial, but actually this brand is really good. I found this at the bins. It is a diamond or argyle pullover zip sweater, so definitely a little bit more substantial than normal, and it also had a lining on the inside. Again, got this at the bins, and we listed it, I think, for about $40 to $45, and we accepted an offer of $35. Here's Talbot's again. Once again with the larger size. This is a size 12. They called the Hampshire pants. This one in particular was new with tags, and so that made me feel confident on picking this up at a thrift store. Paid $4.99 for it, and we accepted an offer of $30. Here is a men's brand we've been finding quite often and have been picking up pretty consistently. It has a really good sell-through rate. It's Johnny O. And this one in particular was a pretty substantial piece. It was a pullover zip, I guess lightweight windbreaker kind of thing. And it also had some print on it, which helped to really increase the value. Paid only $4.99 for this. We listed it for $32.93, and it sold for full asking price. This is one I wanted to show you that we just picked up based on style, took a chance on it. We did get this at the bins, so a little bit less of risk there. However, it was plus size, so this is a 3X, again with a vanity sizing, be careful of that. but it was very Southwestern. It was a substantial piece being in this cardigan fringe sweater, and I just thought it was really on trend. So we took a chance on it at the bins, and it did sell for full asking price very quickly for $24.91, which is quite a bit for Maurice's. Next up is another Bohemian brand. This is called Sacred Threads, and this was new with tags. I have sold jackets in this brand before. I think this might be the first time selling a top. This was actually given free to us by somebody who said that their husband purchased it for them and they just didn't like it, so it was still new with tags. I was happy to take it, so I paid $0 for it. We listed it for $34.93, and it sold on offer to Watcher for $31.44. Next up is a pair of men's Lucky Brand jeans. Again, I love selling men's jeans in general. Lucky Brand's a really good brand to look for in men's jeans, and again, it had the style name right here, so it was pretty easy to look up. These are the 410 Athletic Slims, and I paid $3.99 for these at a thrift store. It sold on an offer to Watchers for $26.94. Another men's brand of jeans that we've been looking for are Mavi jeans. Now, I have found these in women's and they do not perform very well, but in the men's jeans, most of their styles do pretty good. Again, I knew it was men's because of the male style name on the inside. These were called the Zach Straight Leg. Paid $4.69 for them. We listed them for $29.91, sent out offers to Watchers, and someone accepted an offer of $26.92. Been experimenting a little bit with graphic t-shirts lately. I'm obviously very picky because you can come across a ton of graphic t-shirts, both modern and vintage. And regular thrift stores, the bins, even at the bins, I think it's really hard to leave stuff behind just because it is so cheap, but I want to be really picky with the graphic t-shirts you pick up. But I've been trying to get modern graphic t-shirts if I think it is very on trend or a great subject matter. This one I just thought was really on trend. Trunk Ltd is a pretty well-known graphic t-shirt brand. I think it does have a following, however, I don't think typically the sell-through rate is very high. I took a chance on this, again, just because of the graphic, and we paid $4.39 for this. We actually picked it up at a regular Goodwill, and we listed it for $24.99. It did sell for full asking price. Here is an example of a modern graphic t-shirt that we found at the bins. This is a Nirvana graphic t-shirt. I pretty much pick up any like major rock band t-shirts, even if they're modern, at the bins. I specifically got this one because it was a size 2XL, which I think helped us sell it so quickly. So probably paid $1 or $2 for this. It did sell for full asking price of $24.93. We're going to jump on over to some Poshmark sales. I have way less of the Poshmark sales than the eBay sales because, as I showed you on that spreadsheet, we just did not perform well on Poshmark this week, but I did have some pretty decent sales that I wanted to share with you. This one is kind of a funny story. So this is the brand American Living. I feel like someone told me that this used to be sold like as a Ralph Lauren brand, maybe. Comment down below if you know the answer to that. I can't honestly remember. But the reason I looked at this at a thrift store was because of the nice Western Aztec-y graphic. And I actually could not justify getting this at at a regular thrift store based on the comps. But eventually nobody bought this at the thrift store. I saw it week after week, and it ended up at the bins. So when I saw it at the bins, I thought I had put so much brain power into it. When it was at a regular thrift store, I might as well just go ahead and get it and take a chance on it. And so I only paid a couple bucks at the bins. It surprisingly sold for $27, so I probably should have just went ahead and picked it up at a regular thrift store based on the style. But this is, just a good example of a time you should go with your gut if the style is there. So happily sold this for $27 on Poshmark, picked it up at the bins. These next couple of items are both kids items in the shoe department. I really love picking up shoes because the thrift stores price them relatively low. These are a pair of Merrell Kids waterproof hiking boots, and we got these for $1.99 at a thrift store, and they sold for $29. What I tell people to look for in the kids department is basically the same stuff you would look for in the adult. Whatever your bolo is for the adult, try to look for the kids version. The same brands are typically true in the kids department as well. So these are a pair of waterproof hiking boots. Again, I paid $1.99. That's all the thrift store priced them for, and they sold for $29. That's a pretty good return on investment, and they're super easy to ship. Here's another pair of kids shoes. These ones I actually did pay a little bit up for. I paid $4.99 for them. They're a pair of LL Bean kids hiking boots, waterproof once again, and they sold for $25. In both of these cases, they were in really good condition, so that's something to keep in mind. Next up is another style-based pickup. This I paid $4.69 for at a thrift store. It is Urban Outfitters. This is definitely a brand that I steer away from for the most part, unless I'm at the bins or unless it has a pretty unique style. In this case, I thought this was really on trend. It kind of had that cottagecore prairie look to it, and it was more of a midi length dress. I once again paid $4.69 for it. It sold for $25. I think we had it listed for $30 and accepted an offer, and I've already gotten really great feedback for that. That was a really quick sale. This is definitely a Bolo brand. It is called Cult of Individuality, and I don't know if they sell women's, but I definitely know that they sell men's jeans because we've sold them in the past before. We only paid $4.99 for these. Now, if you're looking at this tag at the thrift store, you might think it's a cheapy brand because it just looks that way. And this one in particular felt a little cheapy because the material was really thin. And it was kind of a more unique kind of jean. Usually when I find these jeans, they're actual jean material with some embellishments. These ones were white and pinstriped. So we're really lucky that we looked at the tag because we almost passed on them. Nikki found these and picked them up for $4.99, and we ended up selling them on an offer for $68. The more substantial pieces in this brand can go for even more than that, so I would just keep your eye out definitely for this brand, Cult of Individuality. This I picked up a while ago. It is a kind of obscure athletic brand, which I love finding. It's called Miles Makes Moves. The only time I found it, the only time it's sold for me, but I'm glad I picked it up. This one doesn't, when I look on eBay right now, have a great sell-through rate, but I think back when I picked it up, it did. However, it does seem like this brand retails for a lot, so if you're willing to sit on it, you might be able to get a decent amount for it. I paid $4.99 for these originally, and they sold for $30, which is a pretty good return on investment for a pair of athletic shorts. Next up is another thing we took a chance on. Definitely Ariat jeans do really good, especially in the men's department, especially fire resistant and this M4 line. However, we almost left these behind because of all of the discoloration and the paint. And I thought to myself, you know what? Carhartt and Dickies and all of that actually does better sometimes when there's paint splatter and stuff on it. Why not try it with the Ariat jeans? Glad I picked them up. Paid $4.39 for them, listed them despite that stuff on them. They still sold for $30, so I was really happy with that. Just make sure you notate things if you're going to get stuff with, I don't know, I don't want to call it flaws because sometimes these things add value, but whenever it's anything other than what it was manufactured as. I posted about this brand on my Instagram. If you're not already following me on Instagram, it's the same handle as YouTube. It's under Cayley, Elaine. I'm not as great about posting on there as I am on YouTube, but I have been trying, and I shared this brand with you guys on there. Just found out about this brand. It's called Sunspell, and it's a very lightweight material. You can almost see the holes in it where it's perforated. It's super lightweight. Upon touching it, I probably wouldn't think much of it, but when I saw the tag where it was tacked on, I thought I better look that up. Really great sell-through rate. These polo shirts, just a polo shirt, pre-owned, sold for $50, so I was really happy with that. I paid $4.69 for this. This one sold for $50. I got another one the same day. I can't remember if that's sold or not, but it's listed for about the same price. And lastly is another athletic wear brand that if you're not aware of, I would keep your eye out for. It is Aloe, and a lot of people call it Aloe Yoga, but sometimes you'll just see Aloe. This one actually had the tag. I most often do not get it with the tag on it. It's usually torn away, and then I have to guess the size, but I was really happy. These ones had the tag on it, which is the main reason we picked them up. It's just a pair of black leggings, and it's a size extra small, so very small size. But we did get these at the bins, so we only paid a couple bucks for them, and they sold for $30, despite them only being a plain black pair of leggings and size extra small. When I check comps on this brand, sometimes the sell-through rate is not always there or doesn't show on eBay. However, I really love picking up this brand. I pick up almost everything in this brand because it does perform well for me. So this is one I kind of go against the grain on comps for. You might consider doing the same. But this is the last item, and I hope this was helpful. Alright guys, so that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below as well as the notification bell. That way you'll get notified every time I make these kind of videos. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.